Hello guys, Might D13 here. I hope you all enjoyed part 1. Make sure to check the description. Chapter 2. The Burial of a God. Naruto hadn't spoken in 4 days. Not to Tsunade. Not to the ANBU who guarded him like he was made of glass. Not even to Jiraiya, who returned the morning after the bloodbath, eyes red-rimmed and wild with grief. They put him in the hospital for observation. At least, that's what they called it. Observation. But Naruto knew what it really was. A cage. He sat on the narrow hospital bed, knees tucked under his chin, arms wrapped around his legs. The room was too white, too clean. There was no trace of Minato's blood here, no scent of ozone or smoke, just the sterile smell of disinfectant and pity. People kept trying to talk to him. Nurses, shinobi, hokage advisors. They crouched down in front of him like he was a feral animal that might bite if provoked. He wished they'd stop looking at him like that. He wasn't broken. He wasn't a child. He was the head of the Namikaze clan now, the youngest clan head in the history of Konoha at that. And he didn't feel anything. That was the worst part. He wanted to cry, wanted to scream, but the feelings were buried somewhere too deep to reach. All he could do was sit there, trying not to drown in the quiet. On the 5th day, they released him. He walked out of the hospital on bare feet, long hair brushing his thighs, white robe billowing in the winter wind. A hush fell across the street as he passed, not out of reverence, out of uncertainty. People didn't know what to say to the boy who held the body of the 4th Hokage in his arms. So they said nothing. The funeral was held on the 7th day. They buried Minato Namikaze beneath the tallest pine in the hero's cemetery, the same one reserved for Hokage. Tsunade delivered the eulogy, her voice raw but steady, her words filled with respect and guilt. "I was never supposed to lead this village again," she said. "But he asked me to return, and I did. Too late." Naruto stood in the front row, alone. No family to flank him. Just a white cloak stitched with red flames draped over his small shoulders. Too large for his frame, like a child in a dead man's armor. He didn't cry. He didn't move. He just watched as the casket was lowered into the earth. And as the first handfuls of dirt fell, he finally blinked. Goodbye, he thought. But the word got caught somewhere between his throat and his chest and never came out. Afterward, Tsunade pulled him aside. "You can stay in the Hokage Tower if the compound is too..." She hesitated. "Too much." Naruto shook his head. "I'll manage," he said softly. She didn't argue. He returned to the Namikaze estate alone. The doors had been repaired. The floors were scrubbed. All the signs of violence. Erased like chalk from a board. But Naruto still remembered where the blood had pooled. Still remembered the sound Minato made when he fell. He walked through the rooms in silence, memorizing every shadow like it might vanish if he blinked. He didn't go to the bedroom. Couldn't. Instead, he made his way to the private dojo. His father's sword still hung on the wall. Decorative. Untouched. Meant to symbolize legacy more than war. He took it down, not because he wanted to fight, but because he needed to do something. He stood in the center of the dojo, unsheathing the blade. Its weight was wrong in his hands, too heavy for his small wrists. But he didn't care. He swung once, then again, and again, until his arms burned, until his palms bled, until the tears came. Silently, violently, with no warning. Just hot trails down his cheeks as he gritted his teeth and kept swinging. Not because he needed to train, but because it hurt too much not to. By the end of the month, the village had a new Hokage, Tsunade Senju. Naruto didn't attend the ceremony. She came to him that night. He was in the compound library, reading through old scrolls his father had collected. Anything on sealing, on jutsu theory, on the Ondaime's techniques. She found him on the floor, surrounded by open parchment and dust. "You're overworking," she said softly. "I'm catching up." "You're 10. He didn't respond. She crouched next to him, brushing a piece of scroll ash from his sleeve. "Jiraiya's going to be leaving again soon. He offered to take you with him." "I'm staying." "You could get stronger." "I'm already strong." Her lips thinned, but she didn't argue. "You need people, Naruto. Not books, not scrolls. People." He turned a page. "I need silence." She left him alone after that. But he heard the things people said, the whispers. "Poor kid. Can you believe he watched it happen? Such a pretty face. What a shame. Minato's legacy. Doesn't speak anymore?" The pity was worse than the bullying. He could take being called a freak, could handle the jabs about his hair, his voice, his face. But he couldn't take the soft eyes, the careful words, the sense that everyone was walking on eggshells around him. So he withdrew further. He trained alone, ate alone, slept in the dojo more often than in his room. When spring came, he barely noticed. But someone else did.